The first time he opened his mouth, they laughed. Not because he was singing, not yet. They laughed because of how he spoke. A soft Filipino accent, careful English. A voice they decided, in just 1 second, did not belong on the biggest stage in America. Some people rolled their eyes, some whispered. Someone smirked and said, "This should be interesting." But none of them knew what was coming. Because before the night was over, that same voice they mocked would silence the room, bring judges to their feet, and make one hand slam down on a golden buzzer that changed his life forever. This is not just a talent show story. This is a story about pain, patience, and a voice the world almost ignored. He stood backstage, hands shaking. The lights were bright, too bright. Behind the curtain, he could hear the crowd. Thousands of people, some cheering, some talking, some waiting to be entertained. He whispered a short prayer in his native language. Back home in the Philippines, his mother was watching on a small phone screen. Neighbors had gathered. Electricity had gone out twice already, but they waited. No one moved, because this was not just his dream. It was theirs. Growing up, he was told his voice was strange. In school, classmates copied his accent and laughed. When he spoke English, they mocked the way he said certain words. When he sang, some said, "You're good, but you don't sound American." As if music needed a passport, he almost stopped singing many times. There were nights he cried alone, asking himself why his voice sounded different, why he couldn't speak like them, why being Filipino felt like something he had to explain. But every time he wanted to quit, his mother would say one thing: "Your voice is not wrong, it's yours." So he kept singing. In small rooms, at family gatherings, in church, sometimes just to the walls of his bedroom. Music became the one place where no one interrupted him, where no one corrected his pronunciation, where his accent turned into emotion. Years later, someone told him about America's Got Talent. He laughed at first. That show? They will never take someone like me. But the thought stayed. What if this was the moment? What if this was the door? The audition process was brutal. Long lines, early mornings. Hundreds of people who looked confident, loud, ready. Some looked at him and asked, "Where are you from?" When he answered, their faces changed. Oh, Philippines. That pause again. That look again. Still he waited. When his number was called, his legs felt weak. The stage manager pushed him gently forward. "Good luck," she said. He stepped onto the stage. The judges stared at him. One smiled politely, one leaned back. One looked curious. "Hello," a judge said. "What's your name?" He answered. "And where are you from?" "The Philippines," he said. The crowd reacted, not loudly, but enough, a few laughs, a few whispers. One judge raised an eyebrow. "So, what will you be doing for us today?" He swallowed. "I will sing." Another small reaction from the audience. Not cheers, not excitement. More doubt. "All right," the judge said. "Whenever you're ready." The music started. For 1 second, his mind went blank. He remembered every insult, every laugh, every time someone said his voice wasn't enough. Then he closed his eyes, and he sang. The first note cut through the room like a knife. Not loud, not forced, pure. The laughter stopped. By the second line, the whispers were gone. People leaned forward. His accent was still there. But now it carried pain, hope, truth. His voice cracked at just the right moment, not from weakness, but from feeling. A judge's smile faded into shock. Another judge sat up straight. The crowd grew quiet, the dangerous kind of quiet. The kind that means people are listening. He sang about struggle, about being unseen, about holding on when the world tells you to let go. Every word felt personal. Halfway through the song, a woman in the audience wiped her eyes. A man nodded slowly. The voice they mocked was now holding them hostage. Then came the final note. He held it, long. Strong, unafraid, silence. 1 second, 2 seconds. Then the room exploded. The crowd jumped to their feet. Cheers roared from every corner. Judges clapped. One stood up. Then another. He stood there, frozen, breathing hard. He didn't smile yet. He didn't believe it. A judge spoke. "I need to say something," she said. "When you walked out, I made assumptions. And I was wrong." The crowd reacted. "Your voice is beautiful," another judge said. "And your story matters." He felt his eyes burn. Then the judge everyone feared leaned forward. "You know," he said slowly, "people underestimate voices like yours all the time." The crowd went quiet again. "But that," he continued, pointing at him, "was unforgettable." He smiled for the first time. Then it happened. One judge stood up. The music started again, soft at first. "What are you doing?" another judge asked. The judge didn't answer. She turned to the audience. "This is why this show exists." Her hand hovered over the button. He didn't understand yet, then boom! Gold exploded from the ceiling. Confetti rained down like sunlight, the golden buzzer. He dropped to his knees, hands over his mouth, crying. Laughing, shaking. The crowd screamed. The judges rushed the stage. The same voice they mocked had just earned the highest honor of the night. Back in the Philippines, his mother screamed and cried. Neighbors hugged. Phones fell to the ground. For the first time, the world listened. Later, interviews came. People asked him how it felt. He said one thing: "I didn't change my voice. I just finally let it be heard." That clip spread everywhere. Millions of views. Comments poured in. I judged him too. This made me cry. My accent is not a weakness anymore. I see myself in him. He became more than a singer. He became proof. Proof that talent does not need to sound a certain way. Proof that where you come from is not something to hide. Proof that sometimes, the very thing people mock is the thing that makes you unforgettable. And somewhere, a kid with a quiet accent and a dream watched that video and thought, maybe there's room for my voice too. Because there is, and this story proves it. Before you go, just take a second and think about this. Somewhere out there, someone is being laughed at right now for the way they speak, the way they sound, or where they come from. And tonight, you watched proof that those same things can become power when they refuse to give up. Stories like this remind us why we listen, why we believe, and why voices from every corner of the world matter. If this story stayed with you, if it made you feel something, then let it sit with you for a while. There are many more stories like this. Quiet at first, but powerful when you really hear them. Thanks for spending your time here. See you in the next one.